All right, this is a case study involving the development of a image poster, and it would be at the part 3 level where we had decided on which poster would be the best, and then you would be working on the refinements for the final version of the poster. So at this point, this is Iris's project, and she starts out with an image in the background of a woman with the hair flying, and she's done a very nice job abstracting the image to make it look as though it is a piece of artwork as opposed to just a picture, right? And so that's appropriate for this project. Starting with it in the center, she flips the image, moves the type around a little bit, decides that perhaps that, the radial type isn't really working, tries to get it a little bit more under control, and playing around a little bit with, messing around with, against the circular design, and then maybe playing around with, the type on an angle vertically. The image gets larger. Some of the fine print moves around a little bit, adds a little bar around the bottom here. And so as she moves forward, the design starts to look a little bit more organized. And then decides that perhaps that dark background isn't working and goes towards a way more abstracted image and a lighter background, and starts to play with fields of value to separate the individual content areas. And as she moves through this, she just plays around, right? Here's before, here's after, playing around with the various ideas, putting the title on an angle, and then maybe deciding that wasn't working, decided to play around with the image a little bit more, and sort of reverted back to some of the original layout a little bit. And then again, playing around with the image, moving some stuff around, outlining the 2020. Then, they're saying, well, maybe it's better if I move that stuff back and maybe add some value and some color to the areas, and then starts to kind of hit on something. She's like, oh, okay, I kind of got that. Just decides a different layout, and then playing around again with the title, and then putting things on an angle, and then kind of going back to saying, well, maybe I will add some areas, and sort of playing around with that a little bit, and moving the title around, adding a little bit more complexity to the areas, getting a little bit more solid with the color for the areas, and then saying, wow, maybe I should start playing around with some shapes. And here, this is my comment line from my last review from last year. And then, she starts playing with these variables. And at a certain point, that's the last one. So at a certain point, this is kind of where she was at the end of part 3. And so we were like, yeah, this is the best one of the batch out of everything. Or maybe I think we decided it was that one. I can't remember exactly. But you can see how this all evolved. And then at a certain point, we're going like, okay, this is good. Now it's time to say, let's just refine this. So at the end of part 3, this is where she was at. So just kind of going back and reviewing these designs very quickly. You can just watch the progression as the design evolves. Okay, so that's pretty much her sequence, all right? And this will also be a sample featured album on the website. I hope that's instructional.